You may feel like you're at a real disadvantage if you're an investor over 50. I get it. Everything in conventional investing that we hear in the media and almost all the publications are about investing when you're in your 20s and 30s and maybe even early 40s, when you have decades to invest your money and let it compound. And it can be discouraging if you're an investor over 50 because, well, you want to retire soon and you know you don't have those years to let your money compound. However, there are very real benefits that come from being an investor over 50. Been there, done that, and I'm going to share those benefits with you so that you can use them to your advantage. You can shift the way that you're thinking about this, and this will help you have financial independence yourself. Hi, I'm Camille Gaines. Here and on my website, retirecertain.com, I write about and talk about my adventure since I bought my very first mutual fund when I was in my early 20s, and more recently, over the past 15 years or so, creating multiple income streams, both traditional and non-traditional, along with my husband, Larry, so that we could live in retirement without having to make retirement withdrawals after stumbling into early retirement, as well as building wealth as we get older instead of throwing in the towel and saying we're going to spend less and cut back and we're done making money. We wanted to keep on. We wanted to expand and grow after our 50s. And so that was the inspiration for all of this. And let me share with you the very first benefit to investing in your 50s. By the time you're an investor in your 50s, you have been through, invested through, lived through, survived a couple of bear markets at least. And when we go through these bear markets, which we forget about during the good times, right? But when we go through them, they're really hard to experience. They hurt our net worth. They hurt our investment accounts. Usually our home values drop in relation to the bear market. They're tough to go through, but when we've been through them, we can invest smarter. We know that bear markets and bull markets are part of being an investor, both in the stock market, real estate market, as well as any other type of financial market, including bond markets. So when we're prepared for these things, we can invest accordingly. We can say, I know about how much risk I have, and I'm going to invest in a way that will allow me to invest through whatever happens in a peaceful way that I know, and I'm going to invest in a way that aligns with achieving my financial goals, that amount I need to live for the rest of my life, all right? So that experience is huge as far as being an older investor. All right, the next benefit to being an investor over 50 is that you're much more clear about your goals. All right, so each of these benefits, I'm going to tell you really how you can sort of capitalize on them as well. All right, so with being an investor over 50, with your goals, you know, when you're in your 20s and 30s and 40s, goals are really, really vague. It's hard to imagine what it will be like, what you will want later in life. You have no idea whether you'll have kids, whether you'll have a spouse, where you'll live, you know, what your job situation will be. By the time you're an investor over 50, you've got a good handle on all that, right? You've had the kids. The kids are grown. Maybe you didn't have kids. You know you're not going to have kids. You know where you want to live. You know where you do live and what you do and don't like about it. You know what you want in your life, right? And you can say, yeah, I don't really care about that anymore. I thought I did when I was in my 20s and 30s or 40s even. But I realize now I don't really care that much about that. And when we know this information, we're able to plan better. We're able to say, I need this much money because I know that this is important to have in my life and it will cost about this much money. Or I know I've got this liability, this concern with perhaps an elderly family member or a younger family member. We have a better handle on what's going on and what challenges lie ahead of us. Even though we can't see everything, of course, we have a better idea. So investing in your over 50, it's huge to have this foresight as to sort of what you're going to need and want and encounter over the next several decades. This will also help you know how much income you need so you can really zero in with your investing and your retirement planning to know how much you need to fund the lifestyle you want. The next advantage of investing over 50 is that, well, you've almost certainly save some money, right? If you've put aside money and you've invested it over the years, it's compounded, it's grown, and you have something to work with. I remember starting out driving through the bank, getting $10 to get enough gas to drive to work until I got paid again. I had no money. And the blessing of getting older is that when you save your money and you invest and grow your money over the years, well, you have a little bit more by the time you're in your 50s, and you can use that money to invest strategically. You can use it well. I like to work with my clients on maximizing their capital. Let's see how we can really maximize what you've got. What are your assets, and how can you maximize that? But when you're younger, you don't always have that. The next benefit of investing in your 50s or over 50s is that by this time you very likely own some assets. You may have paid for your home. Granted, it's not an income generating asset, but it can certainly be an asset that increases in value and has significant capital gains depending on the cycle when you bought into it and how long you've owned it. So in addition to your home, you may have purchased some rental properties as well that I like to say pay for themselves over time. That's sort of what we're doing with our real estate rentals that we bought when we first entered this income stream adventure a number of years ago, before we looked at other little slightly more alternative investments, I guess I would say, as well as traditional investments for generating income. So you have assets by the time you're over 50 that you've hopefully paid for. You may have a nice big investment account or retirement account, a 401k, an IRA. You've got some assets that you can work with. The fifth benefit of investing over 50 is you have learned the benefit, I certainly have, of tracking your cash flow, of tracking your net worth. You've learned the benefit of doing this, of tracking your money. And the longer we do things, we get better at it. We've done this for decades, right? We've had lots of practice to say, this is how much we're spending, this is where our money's coming in, going out, and this is how much our net worth is increasing every year. Let's sit down, let's look at this, let's be strategic. That is the foundation of having funds to live for life. So that's how you can capitalize on that benefit of investing over 50. The seventh benefit of investing over 50 is that you've learned a whole lot that you can capitalize on to build more wealth and or to generate income streams. Let me share a little example with this. When we first entered this income stream adventure after stumbling into early retirement, one of our biggest assets was my husband's career. He had worked for over 3 decades as a professional trader. So we launched an online business where he gets to teach other people what he learned about trading. It's been a fantastic experience. We get to work from home. It's been very rewarding, as his other interest in life had been to teach. And so when we are older, we've learned a lot of things. I've learned about investing over the past 4 decades. I work with coaching clients. I am an accredited financial counselor. I went ahead and got that. It was easy to get after investing for decades, and I'm able to do coaching with that. I enjoy it. I'm able to do this channel, which I love. There are so many things that we can do. Not only that, I've learned how to invest over the years. The older we get, the more we learn. And so to think that because we're over 50, we no longer have the opportunities that we once had to build wealth and or generate income, it's just crazy. It can be fulfilling. It can be lucrative. We can tap into what we've learned over the previous decades, and we have those benefits that younger investors simply don't have. That's what I wanted to share with you in this video, and remember, retire certain.